Good morning, Westlight. How's everybody this morning? Memorial Day weekend. Getting your barbecues on? No? It's a little cloudy today. I don't know about I'm going to a shrimp boil. Yeah. A shrimp and crab boil.
Wow.
Right? That's a New Orleans kind of thing. All right. Is everybody ready to do some worshiping? Does everybody want to stand up with us? Let me be filled with kindness and compassion for the one with whom you loved and gave your son for humanity. Increase my love. Help me to love with open arms like you do. Love that erases all the lines and sees the truth. Oh, that when they look in my eyes, they would see you. Even in just a smile, they would feel the Father's love. Oh, how you love us. From the homeless to the famous and in between. You formed us, you made us carefully. 'Cause in the end, we're all your children. Help me to love with open arms like you do. A love that erases all the lines and sees the truth. Oh, that when they look in my eyes, they would see you. Even in just a smile, they would feel the Father's love. So let all my life tell of who you are and the wonder of your never-ending love. Let all my life tell of who you are. You're wonderful and such a good Father. So let all my life tell of who you are and the wonder of your never-ending love. Let all my life tell of who you are. That you're wonderful and such a good Father. You are wonderful and such a good Father. Help me to love with open arms like you do. Love that erases all the lines and sees the truth. Let me hear you. Know that when they look in my eyes, they would see you. Even in just a smile, they would feel the Father's love. Even in just a smile, they would feel the Father's will tremble at no other name. My heart surrender to no other reign. I will bow at no other throne. Rest my heart in no other home. Let meet hands lift no other crown. Let these knees fall on no other ground. Draw these eyes from the gold that won't shine. You turn this life from water into wine. Lord, I tremble. I tremble in your presence. In your presence. You take every starry night. Show your power in downtown city lights. You are higher than the tallest of the hills. And starlit thoughts the walls we try to build. You blind me with the beauty of your face and draw me close with your divine embrace. Speak to me with healing in your words and fix these things I didn't know were heard. Lord, I tremble. I tremble in your presence. In your presence, Lord, I tremble. I tremble in your presence. In your presence, my Lord, 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 my Lord. To you alone be praised. Who could take the praise of my Lord? What compares to your love, my Lord? For everything that you've done, to you alone be praised, my Lord. Who could take the place of my Lord? What compares to your love, my Lord? For everything that you've done, to you alone be praised. You invented all time and space, called the morning and midnight into place, made the mountains, tamed the wildest seas. Well, still you said your holy eyes on me. I will always live in wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be enough. Eternity will almost be enough. Oh, I tremble. I tremble in your presence. In your presence, Lord, I tremble. I tremble in your presence. In your presence. in your presence, in your presence. Thank you, God, for being here with us today. And help us through the rest.
Morning. Hi, please have a seat. I'm Klotz. I'm one of the pastors here, and we have a few announcements. We're so glad you guys are here today. Happy Memorial Day for those of you who celebrate it. All right, first thing, we have an app. You've probably heard me say this before, but we have Church Center app. Go to Google's Play Store or the App Store, download it, and if you don't want, there's a web version of it. Go to westlight.churchcenter.com. You'll get all the information you need right there, up-to-date stuff. And one of the things that you'll find on there is offering, because we have a Church Center app way of giving. We have a way to give online on our website, westlight.org, or you can also give physically in the basket in the back. And for those of you who've been giving, contributing, thank you so much for your generosity. Okay, so this is the stuff that I talk about every week, right? Now, this one is new. So if you are youth, middle high school, we have a PCJC youth camp coming up. I believe it's coming up in July. Yeah, July 24th to 28th. And if you're interested, or if your kids are interested in going, registration is open. The way that you register is by going to this website here, bit.ly/PCJCCamp 2023. So that's how you would do that. If you need help financially, we do have a scholarship. So if you're interested and you're like, I want to go, but it's kind of sounds expensive, we want to help you get there. And so if you're interested in that, please talk to one of the pastors, and we would be happy to hook you up in some way that we can. Okay. Next announcement is an announcement made last week, which is our theme for 2023 is story. And as you know, we're not just talking about any story. We're interested in your story, but at the same time, we're more interested in how our stories fits into God's story. And the way we're going to find out what God's story is all about is through our next sermon series, which is called Bible for Grown-Ups. And the way that I explained it last week was this, okay? A lot of times we learn Bible stories like in Sunday school, Kids Zone. Maybe you heard people talk about it. Maybe you read it for yourself. And that's like the surface level of the Bible, right? If you want to go deeper, into this level of like, well, where did the Bible come from? Who wrote it? You know, did it just come in a golden tablet from the sky? Or were there some bunch of guys who just sat down and said, let's write a Bible? Like, how did this whole thing work, right? And not only that, can we just take every story in the Bible at surface level? How come people use the Bible to hurt other people? Like all those things, we want to address that. So that's why we're calling it Bible for Grown-Ups. Think of it as like a VBS for older people. That's like without the crafts. But it will be kind of like a classroom setting, meaning, you know, a lot of times in a sermon, you want to have like fun illustrations. Yeah, we're going to cut all that out, okay? We're just going to go straight into the facts. So if you want to bring a notebook, you can. We will have a Q&R at the end of each of these sermons, because I think learning about the Bible, it's hard to cover everything. And we're specifically picking out the things that we think we should talk about. But if we're not addressing the things that you're thinking that we should cover, then we want to answer that. So that's going to happen starting next week. And yeah, please look forward to it. Also, next announcement, we have an amazing, amazing, amazing prayer team. So if you would like to receive prayer, please, after service, go out those double doors and go to the blue bench, and you'll see the prayer team there. They would love to pray for you, with you, and if you have a prayer request for somebody else, they would love to partner with you in praying for that person that's not here. So whatever it is, if you want to learn how to pray, please go see the prayer team after service. Amazing, amazing people. Okay. The next announcement is going to be in the form of a video, and after the video plays, Daniel's going to come up here, and he's going to explain a little bit more of what this next announcement is all about.
Daniel, we challenge you.
Be the change. Be the change.
All right. So it's a very, very informative. Okay, so Almost every year, the Kids Zone kids, they network, they partner with another nonprofit organization to help the kids. So for the month of June, the Kids Zone kids, how lovely and sweet they looked on that video, will partner with Save the Children to help kids have access to the food they need. So let me show you. So what we're going to do is there'll be 2 jars. One jar that's for the worship team, and one jar that's for the Kids Zone. Okay? So, Westlight, you guys are participating too if you want. So any change you find, you're doing laundry, you're like, wow, there's a lot of quarters in this pocket. Anytime you just bring them on Sunday, and you can choose if you want to put them in the worship jar or the Kids Zone jar. I mean, yeah, okay, you want to get, okay, pity the kids. Like, oh, the kids need help. But no, it's up to you. I'm just kidding. There's no winner or loser, It's the winners are the Save the Children. It's for the children. So all proceeds will benefit the Save the Children organization. But I'm sorry, we will not be able to provide a donation receipt. So it's just something fun we could do. I think some people have piggy banks, some people have change jars. So bring them on in on church if you can remember, and just throw them into the jars. And I think at the end of the month of June, we'll total it up and we'll see who wins. And all the proceeds will go to the Save the Children. Okay, is that? Oh, one more thing for.
Yeah, thank you. So it's a really good cause. We're adding a little fun competition to it. Who uses quarters and coins? Do you guys still use coins? Okay, it's just me. I've gone cashless. But I'll go to the bank and get some quarters. Okay. Okay, before we dismiss everybody, kids to kids on everything, I've been told that Nancy Nojima has baked us some muffins. So during the 3-minute break, it's a cranberry orange. Did I get that right? So if you're interested, they're outside right there. So during the 3-minute break, grab 1 or 2 or all of them. Oh, share. Okay, and coffee, and then come back in here. In the meantime, you can say hi to everybody. So with that in mind, kids, you're dismissed to Kids Zone. Everybody else, let's get up for 3 minutes and greet each other, get some food.
morning, Westlight. Today we're going to have like a short little panel. No one wanted to finish up. You guys are so brave. Thank you for walking with us through ODR. We know it's not easy. You should celebrate. Give yourselves a hand. Woo. Okay. I should focus. Okay. Is that me? Okay. Simon Sinek, who wrote the book Start With Why, he has this quote: "Why is the compelling higher purpose that inspires us and acts as the source of all we do." And isn't like the first thing we do when we face disorientation is ask why? Like, why is there another mass shooting? Why another earthquake? Why did I get laid off? Why don't dating apps work, right? Like, we want to know why. And so asking why is so innate. It's so, like, valid. And if there is a compelling reason why this disorientation happened, then, like, we'll feel better. Like, we might be okay with it. But here's the problem. There are decisions that are made or random acts that happen that turn our world upside down. And there might be, like, we may never understand why it happened, right? Or maybe their compelling reason for why it happened, it doesn't really feel okay to us. Like, it doesn't justify why we are experiencing our pain or why we experience our hurt. And so so we can't control this. What we always say at Westlight is we can't control the circumstances and the people out there, right? But we can only control us. And rather than asking why the disorientation happened out there in our circumstances and why people did what they did, maybe we need to ask, because we can only control ourselves, why this disorientation is happening in us. Like, I think I did a sermon where I was like, don't ask why, you're just going to get stuck. But that probably wasn't the best thing to say, right? Why is really a gift. Our curiosity to know why is a blessing from God. And he's inviting us to dig deeper and to ask why. Why are we experiencing the things that we're experiencing? He's inviting us to go deeper. And if we're followers of Christ, then Jesus is our why, right? He is our compelling higher purpose that inspires us and acts as the source of all we do. And so he may not have caused what happened, but he longs to guide us and to help us through our disorientation. Not back to orientation, but to walk us through with him to reorientation. And so the Apostle Paul wrote a letter to the church in Corinth, because they were going through some disorientation. Like, our disorientation has been so bad, Kotz and I are like, man, we should go back to the church of Corinth. I mean, they had disorientation, but theirs was like not as bad as our disorientation, right? And so, but in the middle of his first letter to the church in Corinth is the chapter on love, where Paul describes what love is, and he talks about how important love is. And so at the end of that chapter, he writes, verse 13, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." And I know I quote Richard Rohr all the time, but he describes the verse this way. He said, "Love is the source and goal, faith is the slow process of getting there, and hope is the willingness to move forward without resolution or closure." So Jesus, who is love, is our source and our goal, and he's inviting us to lean into our disorientation, to ask the question why, not why is that happening out there, but why is this disorientation happening here? Why are we feeling the feelings that we're feeling? Why are we thinking the thoughts that we're thinking? And when we do that hard and courageous work of asking why in us, oh my gosh, that creates space for Jesus to be our source and our goal. And we experience heaven, and we experience more intimacy with him. And he's inviting us to this love and space, especially if we are the ones who misstepped, especially if we are the ones who are the reason for the hurt and the pain that people might be feeling, if we're the reason for the disorientation. Because we need to learn that his love is not predicated on our successes and failures. I have to remind myself that all the time, that his love is unconditional. And when we can lean into that, oh my gosh, we'll know even more and more how great and how amazing and how unconditional his love is. And so we wanted to create a space for you today where we can ask the question, why? So hopefully if you received all your reflection cards or your reflection photos. And for those of you who are watching on Westlight Live, you can go to the link below on YouTube or go to our Church Center app and download a PDF. And you could look at the photos there. But these are just ways, kind of prompts or tools that we could use. They're yours to keep, to use in the future. Anytime you are in disorientation and you feel the waves coming, and they're supposed to help us understand like what the disorientation is happening, what's happening in us. I mean, we could say, oh, well, that guy's an idiot. But no, we want to go deeper than that. So imagine, I asked Jordan and Stan, imagine they look through the pictures, because sometimes I give directions and it's not even clear. Like, I gave directions to Stan and Jordan, and they're like, wait, what? So I thought it was good if we have an example so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So they're going to be our example. Imagine that they looked at the images themselves, and then what we're going to do is after about 5 minutes of individual reflection, you'll have time, if you choose to pair up with a friend, or maybe it doesn't even have to be the person next to you. Maybe if your close friend that you trust is across the room, you can go, hey, can we hook up? Can we be partners? And you can share what you've been reflecting on in that 5 minutes. Because this sharing, this naming and sharing is how we experience heaven together. This is the experience of experiencing heaven together. So, Jordan and Stan, you have just looked at these images. Think about your disorientation.
So the picture I chose was the one with the woman standing among the rocks, looking out over the waves and the trees, off to the trees. And I appreciate what Lori said about that there are things that we don't want to face. And so this picture reminds me of, I see myself where rocks and things represent stability, and so that's like orientation to me. But then I see ahead of me things that are uncertain, and that's like the waves. But the trees represent to me reorientation, or if you want to use the First Corinthians 13, that the faith is where you can stand on. So that's like orientation. Hope is where you have to go into disorientation because you don't see things. But love is where you can really experience the fruitfulness and bounty that just being in the rocks don't offer. So that's what this picture reminds me of. It reminds me of the series, but also reminds me that where I am oftentimes is I want to stay in orientation. I just want to stay in things I know.
Okay, so for me, 2023 has basically felt like a long season of disorientation, and not like one long thing, but it just felt like one hurdle would come, and then we get over that, and then another hurdle would come, and the hits just kept coming, right? And for me, usually in disorientation, I tend to catastrophize. So I like, this is all horrible, this is never gonna end, it's never gonna get better, I hate it, and I just wanna get out of the water and no longer be overwhelmed by the waves. So that's what I thought of when I saw the previous picture, the same one as Pastor Stan. That's like my normal what's another word for it? My normal attitude towards disorientation. I don't want to even be in the water. I just want to be on the outside and hope I never get hit by the waves. But in this season, in 2023, I felt like as the hits just kept coming, the image of the waves has kind of transformed in my mind a bit. And so my natural tendency, of course, is still to ask why. Why is this happening? Why won't the waves stop coming? But I think I've began to learn in my, after 30 plus years of living, like, oh, this just happens. This is just life. Waves are natural. They're just always going to keep coming. And I'm never going to reach a point where I don't have to face any more waves, right? There's no Waikiki Beach where it's just calm, shallow waters all the time, which is exactly what I'd want. But since that doesn't exist, I'm starting to learn not to fight the waves anymore. And I think I've talked about my friend Rocio, who's encouraged me a lot to just ride the waves instead of fighting it. And in that, I've found like a sense of freedom, I guess. And so that's the next image that I chose. I feel like that's the image that God is inviting me to enjoy the water and enjoy the waves more. And waves don't always have to be this overwhelming and really scary thing, even if it feels like that at first. But instead, I can just rest in the knowledge that God will take care of me and that this wave will end, and though another one will come, that will also be temporary and that will also end. And yeah, I don't think I would have been able to have this mindset shift, of course, if I didn't experience this year, but also without all the resources that God has really like opened me up to and drawn me into this past year. So like I think of like my Fuel Up groups, our couples counselor, the prayer team here at Westlight has been a really huge support. Our families and really prioritizing like my rest and taking care of myself. All of those things have really helped me reframe the waves in my mind and remind myself that this too shall pass and I'll be okay on the other side of this wave because I am loved and held by my people. And so I aspire to hold on to that and experience more of the freedom and the joy that I see this child experiencing in this image.
Thank you for sharing, you guys. So now I'm going to ask Jordan to explain the directions because she's much more clear and concise. So go ahead. Explain what we're going to do.
Okay. So I think we touched on this. The purpose of the practice today is to give space and time for you all to honor your own experiences and your hearts. And you know, at Westlight, we try to be inclusive here, so I'm gonna try to tell these instructions in an inclusive way, because I know some people are like my dad. They need very clear, specific instructions on what to do. And then there's my mom, what are instructions? Throw those out, you just do it. I'm like in the middle, like, I want guidance, but can you give me some space and just let me do my thing? So I know most of us fall somewhere in that spectrum. So I'm gonna start with the very clear and specific directions, and if that's not you, the point of this exercise is for you. You could take what you want, ignore the rest. So step one, Dad, breathe. It's okay, this is not a test, okay? You can't fail. There's no right or wrong answers, no right or way to do this exercise. But like my mom said, first we're gonna do individual reflection for about 5 minutes. I'll keep time, don't worry about that either. I know some of you have already looked through the images, so you could take your time and do that again. Pick one that you feel drawn to. I think she mentioned online, they'll cycle through as well, or you could click on the link. And there's no way, there's no like a question to pick the right image for this exercise. It's just whatever you feel drawn to today. Maybe it evokes an emotion or a physical response. So I encourage you to take this time to like tune in to your body and your emotions and honor that and listen to that and just see, even if it doesn't make sense at first, if you feel drawn to it, just go with that one. Or you could do, I picked two, so again, no right or wrong way to do this. But once you pick one, just take some time to take it in, observe it, what do you notice? And then if it's helpful, there are questions on the back that I'm sure most of you saw. That's just to help you kind of get started in exploring your thoughts and feelings around it. So if you don't need the questions, if you know exactly why you're drawn to that image and want to explore that, go for it. If you do want to use the questions, we encourage you to use like one, maybe two of the questions. Don't try to answer all three, just so that you have a lot of time and you're not rushing through things, and you can really dig deeper into whatever's coming up. So after 5 minutes, I'll come back up and I'll let you know you could start transitioning to the second phase, which is going to be reflecting and sharing with others. So why do we always encourage you to share with others? She's talked about it, but it's a vital part of processing our feelings. We believe life is meant to be done in community, and because of that, we believe there's great power in sharing our experiences with others. So we met this week, and Pastor Stan was talking about understanding and experiencing a peach, right? So you can know and understand what a peach looks like, what it looks like when you cut into it, how it grows, etc. But until you taste it, you can't fully experience what it means to enjoy the peach, right? And so this is what we desire for each of you, to taste and see the goodness of a loving and safe community. And that's something that we can only fully experience when we put ourselves out there even just a little bit, and have someone catch us and experience that feeling. So that being said, I know that not all of us are external processors, and 5 minutes may feel very short. So if you're an internal processor and you're like, I need more time, in the second half, if you need to just take time for yourself and God still, that's totally fine. We do encourage you after the 10 minutes to still, during the week, maybe later today, still share with someone. It doesn't have to be in this 15 minutes. We just want to give space for that. But even if it's like writing it down and sharing what you wrote later, we encourage you to still share with another person. But if you are ready, or if you are an external processor and you're wanting to share with people, during the second portion, we invite you again to get, like my mom said, get in a group of 2, 3 max, that are with people that are also ready to share, and each person will take a turn sharing about the image that they reflected on, what came up for them, if you answered any of the questions, whatever's coming up for you. And as each person shares, we encourage the rest of the group to give their full attention to the speaker without giving advice or even speaking. You can listen and affirm with your eyes and nodding your head. Let them know you are with them with your body language, but try to let them do all the talking. If you feel compelled, there's the fuel up cards in there. Try, for the purpose of this exercise, try to stick in quadrant 1. This is really just for that person to have space to share. So if you don't say anything at all, perfect. If you need to, quadrant 1's there for you. So that portion we have 10 minutes. We've given you 10 minutes, so that means each person gets like 3 to 5 minutes to share. And that's probably longer than you think, so don't feel rushed when you're talking. And then once the 10 minutes is up, Pastor Stan will share, let you know it's up, and then transition us to a time of worship. Okay, so if I lost you, Mom, come back. 5 minutes of individual reflection, pick a picture, spend some time reflecting. Step 2, 10 minutes of sharing with 1 or 2 people, if that feels right for you. But yeah, that's... Hopefully no one has questions. I tried to be as specific and detailed as possible. If you're not into details, I think you could figure it out. I think you get the gist of it. But yeah, I'll give you all time to do that, and then in 5 minutes I'll come back and let you know you could transition if you're ready. Okay. It's been about 5 minutes, so I just want to pause and give you all a second to check in. Do you need more time to process by yourself or with God? Or are you ready to share with someone? What feels right? What do you need right now? What is God inviting you to? So hopefully you can choose, and feel free to choose what feels good for you. And if you are ready to start sharing, go ahead, get up, ask 1 or 2 people if they want to share with you. If they say no, it's not personal. Feel free to talk in here, go outside if you need to, and after 10 minutes, we'll call you back and share and start a time of worship. But please start sharing with other people if you feel ready.
Got about 2 minutes, okay? Why don't we gather back together? Just sorry to interrupt your conversations, but I want to honor the time and also just encourage you to, if you want to spend more time with the individual you're sharing with, certainly free to continue the conversation after service, or if maybe in the conversation someone came to mind that you want to share what God brought to you during this time, that would encourage you to take that step. And so I wanted to close this time in prayer, and as I pray, the worship team can come up, and we're just going to kind of seal what God has done with worship. And one of the things about worshiping God with song is it has at least 3 elements. One element is the lyrics, so maybe something in this next song God's gonna use the lyrics to kind of touch you. There is the music itself, the melody and things, and that certainly can, to me, music kind of sets the atmosphere. And so maybe God is talking about the atmosphere in which some of these things have come up to you, and wants to reassure you that the atmosphere He creates in His presence is an atmosphere of peace and gentleness and not a harshness. And the last element I was thinking of is just the musicians themselves and the singers themselves and their hearts, because as they share their musical abilities, it's an offering to God. And when we see people offer things, I believe it can be an example, or it can be an inspiration to us that God wants our offering to, and to participate. So let me pray, and then we'll have the worship team lead us in song. Lord, I thank you that you are a God who knows all things, and yet never holds anything that you know against us. That you are a God who always is going to do the best for us. So right now, Lord, whatever feelings or things that may have been stirred in us, may we know that you are for us and not against us. So we give you praise in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
So I yield to you and to your careful hand. When I trust you, I don't need to understand. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil I now surrender. You are breaking new ground. If you'd like to all stand up, that'd be great. You are breaking new ground. So make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. 'Cause where there is new wine, there is new power. There is new freedom, and the kingdom is here. Lay down my old things to carry your new power today. 'Cause where there is new wine, there is new power. There is new freedom, and the kingdom is here. Lay down my old things, carry your new fire today. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. Came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Thank you, thank you. This is a new one. Hope you guys soak it what you've done. How could you fall so far? You should be ashamed of yourself. So I was ashamed of myself. The lies I believed, they got some roots that run deep. Let them take a hold of my life. Let them take control of my life. Standing in your presence, Lord, I can feel you digging all your roots up. Feel you building all your roots up. All I can say is hallelujah. 'Cause look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke the truth into the lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. The enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. Suddenly all the shame is gone. Thought I was too broken, now I see. Breaking the ground inside of me. Standing in your presence, Lord, I can feel you healing all your roots up. Feel you digging all the roots up. Feel you willing all your wounds up. Look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke the truth into the lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. The enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. On the cross, in a grave, with a stone rolled away. All my debt, it was paid. Oh, but look what you've done. In my heart, in my mind, in my soul, in my life. With my hands lifted high, I'm singing. Look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke the truth into my lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. The enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. On the cross, in the grave, with a stone rolled away. All my debt, it was paid. Oh, but look what you've done. Heart, in my soul, in my mind, in my life, with my hands lifted high, I'm singing. Look what you've done. Look what you've done to me. Heart, in my mind, in my soul, baby, look what you've done.
In the beginning, O God, your spirit swept over the chaotic deep like a wild wind, and creation was born. In the turbulence of our lives and our unsettled waters of the world today, let there be a new birthing of your spirit. In the currents of our hearts and the upheavals of the world today, let there be new birthings of your mighty spirit. Amen. Well, congratulations, you brave and courageous people. You made it through ODR. Come back next week and we'll start the grown-up Bible study. Okay, have a good week. Get John.